Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Super Bowl week, and we've got a good video for you guys today. Vinny and I back on the channel, and we're going to give you guys our Super Bowl predictions. Not sure if we agree or not, so we are going to talk about the big game, and you guys let us know down in the comments, who do you think is going to win? Personally, I've got the Niners. I want to hear, Vinny, what do you think about this game?
I have the Chiefs. I'm going to have to say I think the Chiefs
Wow.
have
Okay.
it this Super Bowl. It's two reasons. I have the Chiefs because I really do think they win, and I don't want the Niners to win.
Yeah, I'll be honest, as a Seahawks fan, seeing the Niners win anything hurts me. But also, I kind of dig the Brock Purdy story. I kind of think that the underdog story is kind of a cool story. And you juxtapose it with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs is like they're the evil empire. They're like the new Patriots. They're like everybody loves them. The bandwagon, like I understand, I love Taylor Swift's music. I get it, but the fact that so many people are bandwagoning to the Chiefs just because one of their players is dating a pop star, that kind of ticks me off because I know most of these
I
people are not actually Chiefs fans. And it's the same way that, in baseball, everybody who roots for the Yankees doesn't even really know anybody on the Yankees except for Jeter, and he's not even there anymore, but they just root for them anyways because they're bandwagons. And that's what it feels like with the Chiefs. So Vinny, how do you put that together and say, I'm willing to root for this team full of bandwagon fans?
Well, I got to say this. You got to look at what the Chiefs did this year. I mean, the Chiefs versus the Niners. Niners had probably a more impressive season, and that was because they had one of the best offenses in the league. But when you look at the Chiefs, they have something that I think 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? It was 3 years ago now. Wow, it's time flies. When they played against the Niners last time they didn't really have a defense. This go around, this is going to be a
Yeah.
classic two really good teams facing each other. And this go around, you would think if it's an offensive defensive matchup, Chiefs got the offense advantage and the Niners had the defense advantage. It's the exact opposite. The Chiefs have the way better defense and the Niners have the way better offense. And I think if you look at it, the defense wins you championships. And I think this is the defense that the Chiefs want to have going into the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to use that defense to their advantage.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you look at guys like Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Eric Reed, that might be the best secondary in the entire NFL. And then Chris Jones
Rich
still,
Jones a beast.
Chris Jones on the line. I mean, they have a really good defense. Not that the 49ers don't, but the
Right.
49ers defense has been better in the past. They lost their coordinator, Resident D'Amico Ryans ended up going to Houston and won a bunch of games with them. But now who is the 40? I think it's the Panthers guy. Steve Wilkes is their new coordinator.
Yeah.
Hasn't been as successful. But here's what I'll say about the Niners. The last time they played in the Super Bowl, we saw the Niners led for most of the game. But what happened? Jimmy G imploded.
Jimmy
Jimmy
G.
Garoppolo imploded in the he had one of the worst fourth quarters that I've ever seen a quarterback in the Super Bowl have. He threw a
Mm-hmm.
bad interception. He couldn't move the ball at all. And so I look at that game and then I look at this game and I say to myself, Levi, do you think that Brock Purdy is going to implode the same way that Jimmy G imploded? Vinny, what do you think?
I think that is a very interesting question. Put that in perspective. I think Brock Purdy has a higher likely to implode than Jimmy G did
Wow.
last time. I think it's just, and
Wow.
I say this
That's
for
a
two
hot
reasons.
take.
One, I love Brock Purdy. I do love Brock Purdy, but I think he's just young. And when you
Yeah.
see the inexperience, and this is his first time going to the Super Bowl, and it's got nothing about him not being a good player. It's just got everything to do about being in the big game. And when you got a guy like Travis Kelsey,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, you got this team. This for me, this is why I have the Chiefs. This is a an important game as a dynasty. This is a
Yeah.
dynasty maker or it's a dynasty destroyer game.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
if they lose, we ain't talking. The Chiefs are not coming back for the next few years. I think this is legitimately an important. I think this is the most important game up to this point to the Chiefs dynasty. Because if they win this game, they have cemented themselves to being a top dynasty in NFL history. But if
Yeah.
they lose everybody. in the offseason, in my opinion. I think you see guys who are now questioning Chris Jones. Maybe he doesn't want to be there anymore. Travis Kelsey, maybe he wants to still start considering retirement. I mean, he's up there in age. I mean, his brother
Or
retired
could
recently.
Kelsey go join Herbert and Harbaugh in LA where Taylor Swift lives?
That is true. That is also a possibility. So you see,
Oh,
there's a lot of things that can happen,
yeah.
but this is why this is such an important game. And so there's a lot on the line. But because of that, a lot of this team is still they played for the last 4 years. So with that chemistry and with all the experience they have, I think that's what gives the advantage to the Chiefs. And that's where Brock Purdy is like, well, I just got here. What was it? Chase Young just got there. They got a lot of pieces there. Yes, Christian McCaffrey, he just got there. Like there's a lot of pieces that are there, but they haven't meshed with for long enough as the Chiefs had. So I'm gonna give the Chiefs that kind of advantage. That's where the Chiefs got the advantage.
Yeah, you make some interesting points, and you talk about dynasty, right? If the Chiefs win, they join Dallas in the 90s, they join Pittsburgh in the 70s, and they joined Tom Brady Patriots. They'd be one of the four greatest teams ever, right? The only four teams that have won three championships in 5 years. But
Mm-hmm.
if they lose, then they kind of stay in the same realm which they currently are, which is like, Ben Roethlisberger won two championships for
Yeah.
your Steelers. There's a couple other teams, I believe.
Like the
Kurt,
Seahawks in the
Kurt
2010s.
Warner won a couple. So it's like there's different levels of dynasty, and the Chiefs can ascend. Right now they're with Elway and the Broncos. They're with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Those two championship dynasties, that's good, but the Chiefs can
They're
elevate
not elite though. They're
they
not
can
elite.
elevate that into the top of the wire, right? Not even Montana won 3 in 5 years. His were
Mm-hmm.
spread out. But do you think that it's more important to get from really good to elite dynasty, or do you think the 49ers feel more pressure because they haven't won it at all yet?
I'm gonna
But
say
for
this.
them, they don't want to be that team that just keeps on getting there and losing. They want to get that first ring.
I think it matters more to the Chiefs than it ever does to the Niners. The Niners,
Really?
I think it's more about them not losing than them winning for the Chiefs. Because if they lose, the entire league is on them. And that's going to
Yeah.
put a lot of pressure on the organization. It's going to call into question whether or not that $500 million contract that Patrick Mahomes was worth it. It's going to call in a
Is it going
lot
to
of,
call that into question?
I think,
I
I
mean, come on,
mean,
he's the best quarterback in the world.
I
What?
mean,
I mean,
yes,
nobody's
but if you
questioning
can't
that.
get it done at the big stage, then you got to sit there and be
Even
like, well,
though, even though he got it done last year at the big
I
stage,
know, I know. Don't get me wrong. It's not that
yeah,
I'm not questioning it that much, but people will
but
start
people
to
will, yeah,
question it.
you're right. And
People
and then
will.
people will go, "Oh, is Josh Allen the best quarterback?" Yo, Lamar Jackson. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
nobody's better than Mahomes, and Mahomes proved that. Even if Mahomes loses 30-10, Brock Purdy. I mean, Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes, yes, he is. But this game is more about the Chiefs not losing the Super Bowl than the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Because if they
Yeah,
lose, they have so much more to lose. They lose a lot more than just the chance of getting another ring. They lose their dynasty. They lose potentially a lot of people going to Kansas City. They probably lose retention of players in Kansas City.
yeah,
This is a do or die moment for the Chiefs. This is make or break. We're either going to be a dynasty team. We're going to be like the 2010s, late 2010s Patriots, late 2000s Patriots, the 1970 Steelers, the 1989ers. Like we need to be recognized as a top dog dynasty. And to do that, you need to beat the Niners this Sunday. If they don't do that, they'll be forgotten. No one will care about them, and everybody
wow.
will keep trashing them.
I
That
don't
is,
see. I don't think that's the case. I think if they
I
don't
think
win,
that's the
I don't
case.
think if they don't win this year, they'll win it eventually.
No, I
Mahomes is
don't
that
see it.
good.
I see them fall into a little bit of a rough patch for the next year or two. I think
Wow, that's crazy.
this game means a lot more to the Chiefs, whether or not they win or lose, than it matters to the Niners. Because the Niners, I still think they have another year or two to get a ring with this team
Yeah,
because
with
they
Purdy. Yeah,
just made it. Even though they were back there like 3 years ago, whatever it was, they they don't have like the same team they did then. I mean, sure, there's still some players then than they have now, but this core is good. and they want to keep that going for another year or two. So I don't think this is a do or die moment for the Niners. This is definitely a do or die moment for the Chiefs. This means everything to the Chiefs. That's why I think the Chiefs have a lot more to die on, more on the line for this game, and that's where I think they're gonna fight a lot harder.
Okay. See, I actually think this is more do or die for the Niners because you've got this year they were extremely lucky with health. CMC was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much fully healthy all year. You don't know if that's ever going to happen again. Trent Williams staying healthy for most of the year. You don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
that's ever
hard.
going to
Trent
happen.
Williams, especially Trent Williams,
And
that left
so
tackle.
the two most important players on your team who are both kind of injury prone players, both stayed healthy throughout the entire season and postseason run,
Mm-hmm.
minus a couple games that they each missed in the middle of the year. That's super lucky. And plus, you got Kittle's
Yeah.
only getting older. Debo's only getting older. Like, I think this game is more do or die for the Niners. I think if they don't get it this year, they might never. And here's why I think they're gonna get it. Because what does Purdy have now that they didn't have before? Not only do I think he's better than Jimmy G, but he has better weapons, right? Jimmy G had
Yes.
Debo, and Debo's still around, and Jimmy G had George Kittle, and he's still around. Jimmy G did not have Brandon Ayuk playing like this. And Jimmy G had, I think Ayuk was a rookie that year, but
Yeah.
Ayuk's numbers have gone way up since Brock Purdy became the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yards per game, way up. Yards per catch, up. Touchdowns average, up. So Ayuk has elevated himself alongside Purdy, and now he's a legitimate wide receiver one threat. He did not used to be that. And the other one, the biggest factor, I think, is McCaffrey. He
Of
was not
course.
there. Their running back that year with Jimmy G was, I think, Matt Breida.
Matt Breida.
Matt
They had
Breida,
they had a three-back
and it was
rotation.
and Raheem Mostert, right?
Yeah, they had a three-back rotation back then.
They had, yeah, three back rotation, and it worked, but it didn't work as well as McCaffrey has worked.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I don't think that I think that this time around, I don't think they're going to implode offensively the way they did last time. I'm gonna go on a limb here. This is how I see the game go. And you tell me after this how you think. I think
Okay.
close at the start. First quarter, it's tight, 3-3, right? Mahomes gets on the board with a touchdown, but the Niners answer back, 10-10. Remains close into halftime. At halftime, I'm predicting a tie. It's going to be 16-16 at halftime, okay? Move into the third quarter, and the Chiefs are going to have the ball to start the game off, or to start the half off. They're going to have an opportunity to score a touchdown, but Justin Watson is going to do what the Chiefs receivers have notoriously done all season. He's going to drop the ball in the end zone. Instead of a touchdown, the Chiefs have to punt, and now the momentum shifts to the Niners. They're going to score a touchdown instead. They're going to hold a 3-point lead. A 3-point lead. The Chiefs, once again, are going to be able to answer that. But we go into the fourth quarter, the Niners take the lead again. So I'm going to say 26-19 will be the score with 4 minutes left. Niners up by 7. Mahomes gets the ball. You know what he's going to do. He's going to find Travis Kelce in the end zone. Tie game. Taylor Swift's going crazy. Every teen girl in the country going crazy. Mahomes, Kelce. What can't they do? They just broke the postseason touchdown record. Jerry Rice doesn't even have as many yards as Travis Kelce in the postseason. But with a minute left, game on the line, Brock Purdy's going to get the ball back. He's going to drive down the field. And he's going to set up Jake Moody for the game-winning kick, 29-26. That's my final prediction. What do you think?
I think, with all due respect, it's either your score is way too high or it's way too low. I
Wow.
think I think this is when you have two, I think this is a more even matchup than the last time they played. Because the last time it was the Zoom team, and now this time it is the arguably the two best well-rounded teams in football right now. The two best well-rounded teams.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
the Chiefs just proved that against the Ravens. They're a better, more well-rounded team than the Ravens. And the Niners have basically proved that by beating the Lions. So you have the two best all-round, well-rounded teams in football. So either their defenses will collapse and cave in at times, allowing easy drives, but then hold them in a couple of drives, or it's going to be the tightest game, the most defensive battle we have seen because neither team can face each other's defense. And I think we're going to have a combination of that, where we're going to get some drives where there are going to be some 3 and outs, and it's going to be like, come on, guys, where was this offensive firepower? And then the next drive they have, they go down the field in like 5 plays. I think this is going to be a back and forth game, but it's going to be like in moments where it's going to be very quick moments, but the most of the game is just dragging along because that defense is just holding barely against the other's offense. So I'm going to say it's going to be a similar score than the last time they played. It was what, 22-20 last time? Do you remember the score last time?
Well,
24-22.
31-10, I think was 31-20 was the score.
Was it
30 because the Niners led 21-10 or 20-10, and then the Chiefs scored 21 in the fourth quarter. They beat them 31-20.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that score, but I do think in that range. I think you are right. I do see it in that range, but it would not surprise me if we have a less scoring or a higher scoring game, because I think when you have two similar teams, the outcome is way more different and more unpredictable than what people are led on to believe. But I think it's going to be somewhere around that 24-27 score line. I do believe a field goal will win this game. I don't think it will be between the touchdown difference. It will be a field goal difference. That's how close and tight this game's going to be.
And you think Butker's the one making that kick?
No, I don't think Butker is going to be the one to make the kick. I think it's going to be Brock Purdy failing. I think it's going to be the same thing that the Jimmy Garoppolo failed to do last time. Failed to go down the field and score the touchdown to win the game.
So you think the Niners will have the ball down 3 and Brock Purdy will be unable to complete the drive?
Correct.
Wow.
I think
okay.
I think Patrick Mahomes will finish the drive, the scoring touchdown drive. So the Niners will be up by 4 at the end, but then Chiefs
and
win.
then Kelsey gets the game-winning touchdown
Yep.
and proposes in the end zone. Oh my god!
Exactly.
Love story come true. You know, you can actually bet on that. You can bet.
I do believe.
On
I think
CBS.
this. I think it's too early. But if they win, and the next time they go to the Super Bowl, they're going to the Super Bowl next year. And if he wins the Super Bowl next year, he's proposing.
I don't see it.
If he stays for that long, he's proposing.
I followed Taylor Swift for a while. I don't think she wants to get married. How many boyfriends has she broken up with now? Like 8?
I mean, a lot,
10,
but hey,
12.
if they're still together by next year and he goes to the Super Bowl next year and he wins the Super Bowl next year, he's proposing.
It could happen.
And then, but I think my prediction is Patrick Mahomes wins it on a game-winning touchdown drive. That's my prediction.
You know, it's a solid prediction. I did see this, Vinny. This supports you. This is the 4th time that there's been a Super Bowl rematch of the same teams within 4 years. You know what the other 3 were?
One was Cowboys-Bills.
Yep.
In the 90s.
The 90s.
Oh. I'm thinking there was a...
The others were your Steelers against the Cowboys in the 70s.
I do. Okay, yes, I do that.
And then it was Giants and Patriots, 07 and 11. So,
oh my God, that was within 4 years. That's what was throwing me off. Wow.
So of those 3, each time the same team won them both, right? Giants, Cowboys, Steelers, all won them both.
If you're a betting man, guys.
So if you're looking at trends, the trends tell you that when 2 teams face off in the Super Bowl and then they rematch, the winner of the first round is also going to win the second round. Of course, 3 times is not that many, so maybe the Niners will break that trend.
Also, another trend. Now that you mentioned that trend, there was a trend, and what color between the 2 similar colored teams, whoever wore white was predicted to win, I think, or lose. I forget which one it was.
So white has won 16 out of the past 20. But
crazy.
But the Niners are one of the 4 that didn't win wearing white against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And the Niners are wearing white in this game.
No, the Chiefs are wearing white.
Or no, the Chiefs are wearing white. So it's the other way around then, because the Niners were supposed to win their last game against the Chiefs based off the color, and they lost. So they're one of the 4. So I think 16 of the last 20 white teams have lost the Super Bowl, is what it is.
It was something like that. No, it was one. I'm pretty sure. I forget what it was, But
I'm trying to think now because
there's a thing going out there.
New England won and they were not in white, right? They were blue.
No, no, the old
Seahawks were
no, no, no.
blue.
That one only pertains to those who are the same color. The teams are similar
Same color.
colors.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. The
I
Rams
don't know
were
too much
wearing
about it, but I do know of it.
the
So
Rams were wearing blue, I
yeah,
think.
it's some weird conspiracy, like some
Yeah.
weird thing, some weird stats thing. I wasn't gonna say conspiracy theory, but it's not a
Yeah.
conspiracy. It's a stats thing.
Well,
Some weird stats.
my other one is just look at the coach and quarterback. How many times does the worst coach in the game and the worst quarterback beat the better coach and better quarterback? Not that often, right?
I will say this. I will say this. Kyle Shanahan, this is his third time in the
One,
Super
two.
Bowl
It's
in his
go time,
career.
man. It's go time. If you're Kyle Shanahan, it's go time.
This means this is what I'm saying. And even though it means a lot to the Niners, it really means a lot to Shanahan. It
Yeah.
really means more to Shanahan than it really does for the team. Because Shanahan, it's like, it's either I get fired or not. Because, like,
Yeah.
there is a possibility he could get fired after this Super Bowl because he's already been there twice these last 4 years and he hasn't won it yet. But he's a good coach. I don't think he'll fire him, but that thought has to go through the Niners organization. Should we have to let go Shanahan because he can't get it done in the big game?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they'd let go of him, but I think if he can't win it with Purdy on a rookie contract, then after a couple of years, you have to make the decision. Are we going to keep Shanahan and get another new quarterback? Or do we think we trust Purdy and get him a new coach?
Yep.
Because that's what I've always, I mean, that's what the Bills, that's what I keep saying about the Bills. Like, you've been trying for 7 years with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. It hasn't worked yet. Why do you
It's
think
not
it
7 years. It
six,
hasn't been 7 years.
6 years? Well, the
Yeah.
well the NFL has never seen a team win the Super Bowl after 5 years, the same coach and quarterback together.
Maybe this will
You
be
either
different.
you either win within 5 years or you don't. That's how the NFL. That's how the trends in the NFL has worked.
Mm-hmm.
And for Purdy and Shanahan, luckily, they've got more years, right? They've only this is a year two, so if they don't win this year, they got 3 more years to show they can.
Yep.
Right? Burrow's got 1 more year with his coach. But there's not a whole lot of coach. I mean, Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy next year. That's do or die. That'll be year 5 for them. So you look around. It's like now is the best time than ever for the Niners to win it.
Yeah.
Chiefs, it don't matter because they got it within 2 years. So they're sitting pretty.
And they got two within 5 years,
They
too.
got 2 within 5 years, and then
They could get a third in
they
five
can get a
years,
third.
which is crazy
They
to
can get
think
a
about.
fourth. If they get 4, is Mahomes the GOAT?
No, I still
Yeah.
think you need to beat Brady in rings. Until you beat Brady in
Yeah.
rings, you're not the GOAT
Yeah.
yet.
I think if he gets to, like, let's say he wins 5 Super Bowls and 7 MVPs, which I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think he'll ever. I don't think
In a crazy world where Mahomes just like wins every
if
MVP,
any person wins 7
yeah,
MVPs,
then he'd be the
they
GOAT.
are GOATs. I don't care how many Super Bowls they don't have or do have.
But if he
You win
does
MVPs like that, you're GOAT.
4 rings and 4 MVPs, let's say, so he wins 2 more rings and 2 more MVPs, that's pretty reasonable, I think. I don't think that's enough because I think
I think you're
he
a
lost to
couple more
Brady.
trophies.
I think if because he lost to Brady, it's hard for me to put him over Tom ever.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. You have two different guys at two different parts of their careers. I don't think that's a fair assessment just because he couldn't
Mahomes
beat
was
Tom Brady.
Mahomes had just won the MVP that year, and he couldn't even beat
Yeah, but he was like, that was
Tom
his
Brady.
sophomore campaign. You can't just
I'm
can't
just
slap it on a man as a
saying,
sophomore. You got to beat the GOAT of the NFL.
the
No, you can't do
MVP,
that to him.
the MVP of the league lost to a 43-year-old. That's how I see it.
A 43-year-old who, by her chance, happens to be the GOAT of football.
But Mahomes was better than Brady that year, statistically, and he still couldn't beat him in the biggest.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's the GOAT. You can't just expect to
But if
because you
Mahomes
gotta
wants
beat
to
him.
if Mahomes ever wanted to be the GOAT, he should have beaten the GOAT. To be the
Oh
GOAT,
my
you got to
God,
beat the GOAT.
that
That's
is
what I
such a
think.
ridiculous
To
argument.
be the
Leva,
GOAT,
come
you got to
on.
beat the GOAT.
You
I don't
can't.
think that's ridiculous to say.
It is ridiculous. You're asking your second year in the NFL to prove that you can beat the GOAT in the
He had
playoffs.
an MVP. He won the MVP that year.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson had an MVP his second year
And
in the
that's why
NFL.
he's
And
never going to be as good as Mahomes because he still can't beat him.
all right, Levi. I'll let
I
you
think
let this.
I think his peak, and I think he'll get there, is number two. He'll be he'll be known as the most talented ever,
I
but he
think
will
this
not
is.
be known as the GOAT because of Tom.
mm, I think it depends still on how well Mahomes does this decade. I think if he wins this, he'll have three, correct? This will be his third.
Yeah.
And if they, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. This is where I'm like, even at four, Mahomes could be considered the GOAT over Brady. If they win it this year and he wins the Super Bowl next year, the
If he can
three-peat.
get three in a row.
If he gets three in a row, that in
Uh,
itself is GOAT status. No one has done three-peat. And if he does three-peat, I think you have to consider it. I'm not saying
I
you should
wouldn't.
always put him above him, but you should consider it because no quarterback's
Yeah.
done three-peat.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, but I see the logic because that's what that would put him in MJ level, right? And MJ,
Mm-hmm.
but see, I also don't think MJ's the GOAT of the NBA. So there you go.
Whoa, that's a different
That's
story.
a different
We
debate
gotta
for
unpack
another
that
time.
later. But
But
this is football, Levi. Let's
oh
stick
yeah,
to football right now. You're gonna lose some viewers
oh
after
yeah.
this one.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
But no, I do think that if you're talking about dynasty, and you're talking about in this game what matters most, it matters to the Chiefs a lot more because this is be relevant, be remembered, or be like every other team that won two Super Bowls and that was it.
Yeah.
This means a lot. And I think this is going to be a great game. I think this is going to be a lot better game than the last 3 years. I think this will be the best
Yeah.
one so far.
I'm
The
excited.
best game. I think this is the best Super Bowl so far of the decade. I think this will be it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Can't wait. And Vinny, let's hear it. What's your bet on what's the over under? How many seconds of Taylor Swift will the broadcast play?
Shoot. I think this is an
I'm
interesting
going
one.
2.5 minutes.
Wait. Repeat the
Over,
question. Because I thought you said
would you
screen time
say
of the whole game.
would you say over or under 2.5 minutes Taylor Swift being shown on the game?
At one point or the entire game?
Total.
Oh, over
Over,
two and a
yeah.
half minutes. That's a low bar, Levi.
Yeah. Well,
Low bar.
the Ravens game, she was only there for 40
she's
seconds.
had like screen time of like 3 or 4 minutes a game. You're betting the
The Ravens game, she was on there for only 40 seconds.
oh.
Yeah. But I'm like,
Ooh.
this is the Super Bowl. They're gonna milk all of that. You know.
Yeah. You know what? I would think I'd have a prediction, but I don't think so. But here's my thing. I think when it comes to Taylor Swift, she's gonna be shown a lot. And I think if she doesn't get shown a lot, we would love it.
Could we see a surprise halftime performance?
No, no, because there's no song that Usher and Taylor
Yeah,
Swift
Usher does not have a. If
a
they
collab
did,
with Taylor,
oh my
unless
god! Can you
somehow
imagine if
they
they
do
did?
something. That would be crazy, but
That'd be wild.
I don't think Taylor wants to do the Super Bowl
No,
because you don't get paid to do the Super Bowl.
she's declined it like 8 times.
Yeah, I know. But good for her, it worked out for her. But I do think though, I'm not ready to see her a lot in the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not really.
You know
I
what
just
I'm
want to watch.
excited for? The Arnold Schwarzenegger State Farm ad. They've been hyping that one up for a while now.
Well, I do not know this.
Oh yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jake from State Farm are going to be in a minute long feature length State Farm commercial.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Now here's my worry. Here's my worry. This is why I'm not excited about Taylor Swift being in the Super Bowl a lot because I'm afraid she's gonna be in commercials too. See,
Oh
that's
yeah.
where I'm like, okay, because this is like her and Kelsey I have a suspicious feeling that they're going to be in a commercial or two in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where
So
I'm like, uh-oh, this could be really bad.
could they show up for State Farm as well? Right? What's the
Kelsey
is it
for
Kelsey?
sure for State Farm.
He's got the State Farm but now.
Yeah, he's Maato.
Mahomes, Maio, McKelsey. McKelsey, how much you can save, right?
Yes,
If you guys
yes.
watch the video, I'm not sponsored by State Farm.
No, not sponsored by State Farm, but I
Uh,
do think I do think though I would be a little bit upset if Kelsey and Taylor Swift were in a
we're in a
commercial.
commercial.
It doesn't matter what company, just any commercial. I just like,
Imagine,
no.
Vinny, imagine they show up for like what's it called? The diamond, the jewelers, right? The diamond ring jewel.
Oh my God, no. No. Or K Jewelers?
Okay,
No. No,
no,
dude.
I highly doubt that's happening.
I doubt it, but honestly, that is the type of marketing that it takes to just piss everybody off.
Super Bowl commercial proposal. I
You propose at a
unreal.
commercial. Oh my God.
Oh,
Dude,
if
I,
that
I still
happens,
think I like if there was a time to propose to
right
Taylor
after the
Swift,
game.
it's if they win the Super Bowl. If he wins the Super Bowl, I'm not saying he's proposing because I think that's next year. I think next
Yeah.
year he
Okay.
proposes. But if he proposes this year, it's if because they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm just hoping I'm excited for her new album because I'm hoping that we'll get a football themed Travis Kelsey song in there, but I don't
I
know.
appear
Yeah.
actually no, I don't think so. I think maybe that's true, but I do know that it's about one of her other boyfriends.
Oh,
Like
come
it was
on.
about one
Too
from
many.
what I heard from one of my friends who follows Taylor Swift. It's about one of her other boyfriends. I forget the name
Oh,
already, but it was about one of her exes.
yeah. Too many X's. All right. Well, one thing I know is that the Chiefs 49ers is going to be a good game. And
It will be.
if you guys agree, disagree with us, we kind of got away from the football talk, but it's the Super Bowl. So nobody's really talking about football anymore. It's
Super
all
Bowl is about an event. It's about having
it's an
fun with
event to
friends.
having fun. So let us know down in the comments what do you think, and make sure you all subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll bring Vinny in for some basketball content next. Thank you so much, Vinny. You had any parting words?
Go Chiefs, down with the Niners.
And I'm gonna say go Brock Purdy because I've been pushing your narrative all season, so you better prove me right, buddy.